While the horror genre is filled with all kinds of strange monsters, tales of human mutations remain to be the scariest of them all. Maybe it's the idea that something like this could ever happen to humans, or that they are strikingly similar to our appearances with some grotesque features. Human mutation monsters always manage to send a shiver down our spines. Ranging from the Lickers in the Resident Evil series to the Replicators and Socialites, today we will explore some of the scariest of these monsters and tell you all about them. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. 1. Licker, the Resident Evil series. Essentially created as a biological weapon by injecting the T virus into human tissues, the Licker was born out of experimentations at the Hive. After injecting the virus into test subjects, they collected enough data to be able to mass-produce these creatures at the Hive, as well as the Umbrella Prime facility. They hoped to show these creatures to bioweapon buyer clients, but things went downhill in the early stages of the T virus pandemic. It so happened that a security operative was bribed to contaminate the Hive, and one of the Lickers managed to escape while the Umbrella's sanitation squad was investigating the area. Soon enough, the Red Queen computer enabled the Licker to hunt down the squad and trap them, and it even managed to attack Spence. When the rest of the team escaped, the Licker followed them on a train to the Looking Glass house in the Arklay Mountains, and even managed to kill Kaplan. While he was soon killed, many such Lickers were released from captivity in no time, and they all made their way to the civilian world and claimed several lives in Raccoon City. Typically, Lickers mutated from human bodies after they were injected with the T virus, which manifested differently depending on whether one inhaled the virus or caught it through bites. In most cases, the infected human's skin started shedding off to reveal the overdeveloped muscles that gave them enhanced strength. Additionally, their skeleton took a much more bestial form that compelled them to walk on all fours as opposed to two legs. They did gain abilities such as enhanced speed and agility, as well as razor-sharp claws that helped them climb any surface or even ceilings like lizards. Their tongues also mutated to a point where they could whip through one's flesh and leave deep cuts or even grab things from a distance. Since their eyes degraded due to the virus, Lickers also had enhanced senses of smell and hearing to compensate for their weak eyesight. 2. Birkin, William Birkin from Resident Evil. Initially introduced as a virologist in the Resident Evil franchise, Dr. William Birkin lived quite a roller coaster of life while working with Umbrella Pharmaceuticals. He was responsible for working on the T virus and even discovering the Golgotha virus, but he eventually betrayed the corporation after he was rejected for an executive promotion. Birkin then went on to betray the company by secretly trying to sell the Golgotha virus to the US military, as well as sabotaging the company's facility. He even ended up flooding the place with failed test subjects, which led to the breaking out of the T virus and the so-called cannibal disease. Birkin then prepared to sell off the Golgotha virus to the US military, but Umbrella HQ grew suspicious of his activities and decided to confront him. In a chaotic series of events, the HQ sent a USS squad to attain the virus, and Birkin put up a good fight while resisting their attempts to secure it. They did manage to steal his supplies, and Birkin then injected himself with some residual G sample. He hoped that this would turn him into a G-human, but the virus didn't stabilize correctly and turned him into a gigantic G-mutant. He then followed the USS squad and consumed many more vials of the G sample, which triggered a series of transformations. After assuming various forms and infecting many people around him, he assumed his final form as a blob with a gigantic mouth, multiple limbs, and tentacles. He then met his death in a train's carriage after the train detected him as a biohazard threat and initiated a self-destruct sequence, while other sources claim that he died after someone stabbed him in the eye with a metal pipe. Either way, Birkin's greed for power and success finally caught up to him, and he even ended up destroying his family, including his wife Annette and his daughter Sherry. In fact, the mutation drove him to satisfy his basic instincts, such as food and reproduction, and he then believed that his daughter would be a viable host for his parasitic larvae. While he successfully managed to parasitize her, his wife sought him out and tried to attack him with an anti-BOW weapon. She did manage to injure him significantly, but Birkin somehow underwent another mutation and then killed her by throwing her at a wall. Among other human mutation monsters, Birkin remains a cautionary tale, as his mutation not only destroyed him, but also brought about death and destruction to those around him. 3. Mansquito, 2005. Also known as Ray Erickson, Mansquito was the main antagonist of the 2005 American horror film. The movie kicked off with a prison convict named Ray Erickson, who agrees to be part of Dr. Jennifer Allen's experimental program to get rid of his prison sentence. He soon learns that Dr. Allen was trying to get rid of the Gillen virus by capturing mosquitoes and then exposing them to radiation as a part of her study. But things go downhill when he convinces her to open the experiment room. Soon enough, the security guards open fire and trigger an explosion where both Dr. Allen and Ray Erickson get exposed to these genetically altered mosquitoes. While Ray manages to escape, he soon realizes that his body is mutating into a half-human, half-mosquito, but he continues to hunt down his ex-girlfriend amidst all these changes. As his transformation is complete, he ends up killing her while Dr. Allen also suffers some side effects while meeting Tom Randall, a police officer that she was going out with. She ends up craving his blood and even tries to bite him, but Tom is soon sent off to a crime scene where he finally encounters Ray, who has now fully transformed into the Mansquito. As the film progresses, Dr. Allen is relieved to find out that her mutation is much weaker than Ray's, but she also has bigger troubles as she tries to stop him. She even tries to commit suicide when she learns that the Mansquito will die without a mate, while the creature continues to get close to her to mate with her. Eventually, the movie ends on a dark note as Dr. Allen accidentally electrocutes herself as well as the Mansquito and wipes out all threats of these mutations for once and for all. Portrayed by Matt Jordan, the Mansquito appeared as an anthropomorphic mosquito with wings, a long proboscis, as well as a gray exoskeleton. He gained superhuman strength and the ability to fly around and climb walls, but he didn't pose a significant threat and even struggled to survive without a mate. 4. Mutant Baby. Known for playing the role of the antagonist in the 1974 horror film It's Alive, the Mutant Baby went on to terrorize the audience in the 2009 remake of the film as well. This creature got this name due to its horrifying murderous appearance as a newborn baby to Frank and Lenore Davis in Los Angeles. As soon as Lenore gives birth, the couple realizes that their newborn is a mutant who does everything in its power to escape. Moreover, the mutant resorted to killing people when it was scared, and it was also quite scary in its appearance. In the original film, the police managed to shoot the mutant baby and get rid of its menace, but the finale revealed that many such babies are being born all over the country. The remake had a slightly different plot, wherein the baby was named Daniel. Here, Daniel was born to Lenore Harker, but he was soon killed when their house caught fire and burned everything to a crisp. According to some sources, the movies imply that the babies underwent these mutations due to experimental fertility drugs, but this was only the case for the original trilogy. In the remake, the mutant baby Daniel initially turns out to be an ordinary infant. While he is unusually large for his age, Daniel doesn't show any signs of mutation upon birth and only starts taking a grayish appearance over the course of a few weeks. As more time passes, the mutation creeps up on him, and he finally goes on a killing spree that leaves everyone surprised. Since it was essentially a human, the mutant baby had large eyes and a huge forehead, but this is where the resemblances came to an end. The creature had a bunch of unsettling features such as yellow fangs, razor-sharp claws, and prominent veins bursting through its forehead. And the 2009 remake version also had piranha-like teeth and claws instead of fingers as additional features. The mutant baby somehow had enhanced strength, and the remake version was also capable of stealthily sneaking up on its victims. 5. Martin Fly, the Fly series. Also known as Martin Brundle, the Martin Fly was the protagonist of the 1989 horror sequel to The Fly. While the first part focuses on Andre's transformation into a humanoid fly, the sequel was all about Brundle Fly, aka Seth Brundle's son, Martin. After his father's death, Martin realized that he had inherited his father's fly genes, which caused him to speed through puberty at an enhanced rate. While he had a natural human appearance, as opposed to blatantly striking fly features, one could tell that he was not entirely human despite his tall physique and brown skin. There were tattered black marks all over his body, and he also stood on 2 clawed legs in addition to having 4 insectoid arms. Martin Fly's head also had amber eyes that had an insect-like appearance, and his lower jaw consisted of 2 toothed mandibles. Portrayed by Eric Stoltz, Martin Brundle eventually managed to reverse the effects of the fly gene after he forced Bartok Industries' CEO, Anton Bartok, to enter the telepod with him. He then swapped his genes with Bartok's, thereby gaining a complete human physiology, while Bartok was left with maggot-like features. Even though the Martenfly turned into a regular human at the end, he did have some specialized features, such as superhuman strength and the ability to climb walls. He could also puke some corrosive vomit or slash at his opponents with sharp claws, but he mostly relied on his human intelligence to get him out of tough spots. 6. Replicators. Repligator 1996. Introduced as the titular antagonists of the 1996 film Replicators, these creatures terrorized several humans on-screen as well as the audience off-screen with their sexploits. The movie followed a perverted military program that would turn regular, unwitting humans into sex-crazed women. But things took a turn for the worse as a bug got caught in the transformation procedure. As a result, the transformed women would turn into reptilian monsters whenever they reached climax, and often took the appearance of an alligator or a theropod dinosaur. These replicators appeared as scantily clad, stunning women with reptilian heads, sharp teeth, powerful jaws, and armored scales. They did have the intelligence of humans, and they could be turned back into humans with the help of special ray guns. 7. Andre Fly, a variation from the Fly franchise. Initially known as Andre de Lambry, the Andre Fly is the leading character of the 1958 American horror movie The Fly. The movie revolves around a scientist named Andre de Lambry as he tries to teleport himself with the help of experimental teleportation pods. Unfortunately, things take a turn for the worse as Andre ends up fusing with a housefly that had accidentally entered the pod at the same time. Their bodies merge to create the Andre Fly, a humanoid creature that wore a white lab coat and had the head and left arm of a fly. Since he was a blend between two species, Andre Fly possessed the best of both human and housefly traits, which meant that he had human intelligence as well as the superhuman strength of a fly. Over the course of the movie, Andre Fly overcomes some terrible difficulties before finally begging his wife to crush him in a hydraulic press and kill him once and for all. 8. Socialites. Introduced as the main antagonists of the 1989 horror film Society, the Socialites were essentially a bunch of aristocrats who had been selectively breeding within the community until they gained the ability to morph their body parts. In fact, these Socialites could also meld into one, thereby assuming grotesque forms or even merging into one giant solid mass. Typically, the Socialites could be mistaken for normal, wealthy humans, but they had several special abilities such as shapeshifting or fusing body masses. They were also quite proud of their so-called impeccable breeding, and every last one of them managed to survive the instances of the movie. Marvelous verdict. And with that, we've explored some of the most spine-chilling human mutation monsters in the history of pop culture. From creatures created out of the T-virus infection to mutant babies, these monsters have redefined human monstrosities to the point where any imaginable creature can be brought to reality in these fictional worlds. We hope you've enjoyed exploring these mutants' features and abilities, and we'd love to hear your favorites in the comments below. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.